What's going on? It is Patrick Wilson, and we have honking in the background already. I apologize. We are in downtown LA recording this. Today we are talking about the 3 times that carbs are bad for your fat loss goals. Now, I'm sure you normally have heard that carbs are horrible for weight loss, and you should cut your carbs to lose weight, and that's the only thing you need to do, and you're gonna make progress. And for a long time, I've always talked about how that's just not the case. It all comes down to total calories. However, there are 3 instances where carbs actually are bad for your weight loss goals. Or these 3 actions, if you're doing these regularly, it will cause you to, it'll be more difficult to lose weight, to lose fat, and make the progress you want to make, okay? So we're gonna go through these 3 things. I'm gonna tell you the real deal about when, why, how carbs can be bad. All right. First thing though, please like the video, wherever it is. Like the video, subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna take a little drink of coffee. Shout out to Starbucks for the Christmas cups. Whew, all right, let's get it going now. All right, the number 1 time when carbs are bad for fat loss, for weight loss, it's gonna be when you're eating foods that aren't only high in carbs. So oftentimes people think that when they're having candy or donuts or ice cream or pasta, that these foods are just high in carbs, and that's why you should avoid them, because that's the carb content in those foods. And, sorry, there's a bus going by. And that's just not the case. So for all those foods, for most foods that you think are high in carbs, they oftentimes are also high in fat. So when you think about ice cream, it has carbs, but it's also mostly made up of fat because of the cream that's in it, and that's what causes the calories. Calories are what cause you to gain or lose weight. That's what it comes down to. When a food is too high in calories and you're taking in too many calories, that's going to cause you to gain weight or not make the progress you want. So foods that you think are high in carbs oftentimes are higher in fat. Fat has a lot more calories than carbs. Carbs have per 1 gram of carbs, it's 4 calories. Per 1 gram of fat, it's 9 calories. So fats are a lot more calorie dense. So any foods that you think are high in carbs, they are high in carbs, but they're also high in fat. It's not that the carbs in them are necessarily bad. Like for ice cream, it's like, sure, a little bit of sugar, some sweetener in there, but a large portion of the calories are coming from the cream and the fat. Same with like pasta. Like the pasta itself, yes, if you just have pasta and don't add any butter or pasta sauce, like you can overeat that. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But if you add in oil and butter and pasta sauce to it, then it starts to become a lot more calories because of the fat with that. Oils that go into different foods, whether it be pasta or like potatoes. When you fry a potato by itself it's high in carbs, but it's pretty filling for the calories you're taking in. But then you fry it and then you add some sour cream, some cheese on top of the potatoes. That's when the calories start stacking up. So when you're having foods that are higher in carbs, yes, but if these foods also are really high in fat, aka these are often talked about as junk foods. I like to call them fun foods. They're fun, but you definitely have to be mindful of the portion of them when they are foods that are high in carbs and high in fats at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much most fun foods are, gotta leave. Hey, towing stuff early. Chill, man. Chill, it's too early. All right, anyway. So if you think about like donuts or, again, ice cream, any foods that are combining carbs and fats, it's gonna be so tasty, but it's gonna be high in calories. So that's number 1. The second one, if you mindlessly eat high carb foods and you just can't stop. Now this has probably happened to all of us, like me included. Like I love cereal. If I get a box of cereal, bro, it's gonna be hard for me to stop eating that box of cereal. I'm just letting you know right now. If you get some Honey Nut Cheerios, some Captain Crunch, some Fruit Loops, some Golden Grams, you put that in front of me, I will eat the entire box without any regard for human life, without any regard for calories, without anything. I will smash the whole box of cereal, no question. And so cereal and just milk, those are pretty much just high carb things. Milk has some like protein too, but just cereal itself, that's pretty much just high carbs and that's it. But I could eat the whole thing. So if you just mindlessly have something like that, like cereal or like crackers or I'm trying to think what else. Like even pasta is something where it's normally tasty because you add in like oils and different stuff to it. But if you could just sit there and just smack just pasta by itself and then you just could feast on that, hey, shout out to you. Or if you just like bread, like just eating bread. I don't know who just eats bread just by itself, but there are a few different just high carb things that if you just, with any foods really, if you have too many of them, if your portions are too big, if you got too much dip on your chip, even though we're talking about carbs and those are dip and chips are high in fat, regardless. If you way overdo it with any foods, but if there are certain foods that are higher in carb that you just can't stop eating once you start eating it, then yeah, it's gonna be potentially bad for your fat loss goals. You can still work in that. You can still work in foods that are high in carbs and high in fats at the same time. You just got to be more mindful and make sure you're having it in moderation. So if you're overdoing it with foods that are high in carbs and you just can't stop eating them, then yeah, that could be bad. That could be bad. And the third one, the last one that we're gonna talk about. Let me get some coffee real quick. Hold on, man. Just black coffee too, by the way. The Christmas blend joint with 2 Splendas. That's how we do it. Normally I get the nitro cold brew though. The nitro cold brew is tasty too. It's my jam. It's normally my jam. All right, the last one, number 3. Carbs are bad if you completely neglect getting in enough protein. So protein is super important for fat loss. It's important because it helps you build and retain muscle so that when you actually start losing weight on the scale and start losing mass from your body, it's mostly body fat, and so then you look toned and lean and ripped and how you want. You know, most people don't just want to lose weight on the scale because then you end up potentially getting skinny fat. I got another video about that. You can look up Patrick Wilson's skinny fat and see how to avoid being skinny fat, what to do if you are skinny fat to get lean and toned and ripped and all that action. But protein. Yeah, so protein's important because it helps to build and retain muscle. That's number 1. It's also very filling. So if you are trying to cut back on calories, you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, to lose fat. All this stuff comes down to calories. If you have foods that are more filling for the calories you're taking in, like protein, then, hold up, wait a minute. The buses are so loud. I don't, like, I understand, like, a plane is loud because it's such a big machine and you gotta operate it. Obviously a plane has to go fast and be up in the air and that stuff. But like a bus, like, I would think it'd be a little bit more quiet, but I also get it because it's just like, it's such a big vehicle. So like the engine and everything, it takes a lot of power and it generates more sound. But either way, whenever they drive by, I'm like, bro, why are y'all so loud? Anyway, protein are a lot more filling. Foods that are high in protein are a lot more filling. So if your diet consists of only high carb foods and not enough protein, like you're not getting enough protein in the day, 1, you're probably gonna overeat those carbs, going back to the first 2 points, because you're not full yet, so you're just gonna wanna keep eating them. And if you're not getting enough protein, you're not gonna look as good as you lose weight, even if calories are in check. So carbs can be bad if it's the only foods you're eating, okay? So those are the 3 things. Those are the 3 times when carbs are bad. Outside of that, go ham. Track your calories. Calories are the most important thing. If your calories are in line with your goals, regardless of how many carbs you have, if you're getting in enough protein, getting in enough calories, and it's in line with your goals and you're in a calorie deficit, you're gonna lose weight no matter how many carbs you have or what kind of foods you have. You can have a donut or ice cream or pasta or cereal or whatever it is, and if you're monitoring the portion sizes to be within your calorie goal and getting enough protein, you will make progress. So all in all, carbs really aren't that bad. People really go crazy like, oh my God, you can't have any carbs, you can't have any bread, you gotta cut it out completely. Don't listen to that. Please don't listen to that. It's not the case. All fun foods are fine in moderation. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. That's the beauty of understanding how nutrition works and getting it. And practicing moderation is a whole different video, and we can touch on that a different day. But it's important to know that it's okay to have carbs and have fun foods in moderation, and you can still lose fat while doing it. All right. Well, it is time for me to go. I'm gonna finish this coffee. I will see you on the next video. Comment below with any questions you have. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel. I will love you forever. I will love you more than the entire boxes of cereal and waffles that I used to eat when I was in high school. True story. All right, much love. Talk to you soon.